You're listening to the J.Birdy Watching Podcast, the official podcast of JaysJournal.com and Fansided.com. We are the official ballroom chat for everything Toronto Blue Jays baseball, from game highlights to rumors and all the stuff in between. Here's your host, Craig Borden, with co-hosts Jason Lyons and Liz McGuire. Now let's talk some Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Victory Circle, everybody. Craig Borden here with you at the J.Birdy Watching Podcast, here with my co-host, Jason Lyons. How the heck are you, bud?
I mean, really, how could you be any better? It was dramatic. It was must-see TV. It was all of those things. And I'm sure inside Rogers, I'm sure that spirits were really low. And then just the way baseball is, you know, you get a walk, it starts to rise a little bit. IKF comes up, the guy that Pittsburgh he was so shitty he couldn't even play on Pittsburgh, drops, and we pick up, gets a base hit, and you could just feel it. So the way my house is here, our family room is here, and then you have to go downstairs to the front door. And my son Jet had a hockey game at 9 o'clock, so he used to be there an hour and change early. So we're literally the four of us standing on the stairs with me holding the remote, trying to wait so we can time it to run to the car to get it on the Sirius before we drive. And I'm like, we're not going. And Craig, I mean, you know, we'll talk about this, I'm sure, but Darryl, Craig and I actually said out loud, wouldn't it be great if George Springer had a Kirk Gibson moment?
Wow.
And I could feel, you know, and you can just, I'm like, this is going to happen. This is going to happen.
We've done it twice.
Yeah, we've done it twice. And
when it
happened, it was, you could hear people. And then we rushed to the arena. I ran down to this bar. A whole bunch of people I knew were there. And I don't know if in Vancouver, the last thing I can remember where an entire bar was like, you need to turn the music off and put the audio on from the TV, please. Like, what are we doing here? It was electric. It was so much fun. You know, thank God it was George. The baseball gods. And my favorite now is watching, you know, all of these Yankee fans and all of the Astro haters and the George Springer haters, and they're just previous all talking about the karma, and then it's just like smack right in the face. So good for George, good for the Jays. I'm excited. Everyone's already counting them out. So that's what the Jays need. The Jays need to be counted out in this series. They need to hear all this. They need this stuff up in the locker room, and but totally awesome. Super stoked.
So now that Jason's told the whole plot line of the whole show, let me introduce my guest. Darryl, how are we doing tonight, buddy? Repping our
doing great.
Favorite brand, J.Birdy.
That's right. Thank you for having me on once again. It's nice to be on. I think it's the 5th time, so I feel very relaxed. But there's nothing sweeter at all than baseball in October. There's nothing sweeter in Canada than baseball in late October. And there's nothing sweeter in Toronto than baseball in the latest part of October possible, close to Halloween, and we're still talking Blue Jays baseball, and it's not trades, it's not free agency,
it's not fire the coach
right now.
Yeah.
Nothing's better.
Yeah.
So
and there's this whole thing that we have a special anniversary tomorrow night. This is like literally tomorrow, October 23rd, and we get to celebrate that with another 3-run home run in the recent. It's so
is he going to throw out the first pitch?
Oh, come on!
How can he not? I mean,
exactly. I feel
you're
like
starting to run out. So, I mean, if we were to go for the first 2 games, my guess would be Joe for 1.
Yeah.
And then I got to think it's Roberto Alomar for 2.
He's gone. When you remove the banner, he's exiled.
Yeah, he's.
So
I think
really?
There's that whole don't do things to women kind of thing going on there. Unfortunately, that you just maybe should tell them what you have before you do something.
Could be Paul or Pat Borders, your MVPs.
Steve would be a fun one.
But the thing with him is he'll throw a 89 to 92 mile per hour, slider with movement, and he's gonna think he's still got game to play. So
yeah.
But I did think when Bieber was on the mound, I thought, man, this guy looks so much like Dave Steve. Nobody
does he ever look like Steve?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
He did.
It's crazy. And what a job he did. Like, let's call a spade a spade. He did a great job. I know that there was a lot of people that were sort of barking a bit, and there's a few base hits and all the rest of that, but I mean, he did a great job. That pitch that and let's give Julio Rodriguez his flowers. That hit pitch that J-Rod hit out, no one puts that ball out that far. Like somebody might flare one to Oppo, but nobody pulls that ball. And people that are out there that understand baseball understand how difficult a ball 6 inches off the plate is to pull. It's hard as the Ohtani home run the Judge home run that he hit inside that far.
Outside end. He outside ended it.
Crazy. Nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, it's we're talking about special athletes at a special time of the year. There's nobody that's on these teams that isn't a premier baseball player in the majors, and there's nobody that isn't very good at their position. That's why the Mariners, they were a bit of an anomaly to me because their bottom 3 was so bad. Sure, JP Crawford still got some skill at shortstop, but I mean that
he did.
That 10 zone guy.
His double plays were good.
Yeah,
he was fine, but they just had a drop off.
Yeah, and the Jays don't have that, and even when you do, I think that the guys that are waiting on the bench to play, like if you have to put David Schneider in or you have to put Miles Straw in, I don't know that there's a drop off there. Like
no, have they released their rosters? Like is it going to be Schneider on the roster? Not yet, huh?
I don't think officially announced.
I don't think anything official.
Rumor we got to talk about here at some point in the show here, but I want to take us back before we get too far into it. We got to recap all the fun that we've been leading up to this point. This was the most back and forth 7-game series that I've seen, and not to mention how many of the games were actually won by the away teams. 5 of them. It's insane. That doesn't happen very often. So, and obviously it came down to the critical winner take it all game. And sure enough, the Toronto Blue Jays, we get behind right off the bat. To your mention, Julio Rodriguez silencing everybody with a double right off the bat and then getting drove in. Then we get the run back. Oh, they get another one. And then they get another one. And things were looking pretty grim, boys. I never was in that ballpark that I felt like I was out of it, but it was kind of running out of time feeling. So I'm sitting there with my wife, kind of similar to what you were talking about with the kiddos, Jason, and that little squibbler goes through the infield, and I'm like, oh, we're going to win. Now my wife's like, what do you mean? Because now I'm standing, and I'm like literally like kind of like swaying back and forth, ants in the pants, whatever you want to call it, couldn't handle it. And then the Barger gets on base, and then it just keeps going and going, and then the little Jimenez bunt that moves them second to third.
Yeah, what a key play too.
It just, you felt this like vacuum kind of happen. You saw it on the faces of the guys, even for the Mariners, that were like, oh, here we go. It just kind of felt like that deflating piece. And then of course in the epic, just you couldn't write this stuff. George Springer 2 days prior to that gets plunked on the knee with a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Hobbled. Oh, I can't believe some of the swings he took Sunday night, guys. They didn't look like George Springer.
Yeah.
So 3 days later
to watch.
Exactly. But you knew he wanted to be there, and there was good luck taking him out. It might have been worse than the Mad Max situation if Schneider actually tried to take Springer out of that game. So now the stage is set perfectly for one of the most prolific postseason players in baseball history. After that home run, he is now the 3rd ranked player in all Major League Baseball history as far as how many postseason home runs they've hit. Only ahead of him is Jose Altuve, and I'm forgetting who's in first, but either way, it's insane that he's in that company. And just, Derek Jeter. So, but it's just a wow factor. I've not heard a sound like that. And then I think the more ironic thing in this whole thing is that Jose Bautista, the last time that sound was made in that ballpark, is sitting there watching. And I love the Instagram post after that says, oh, so this is what it feels like to be in this seat band.
Yeah.
I was there for that home run. I was there for Edwin's home run. I was alive for Joe's home run. I was not there for the Springer home run, but I'll give you perspectives. When you're a kid and you see that home run hit and you're 10 years old, you go like, wow, does life get any better? And then you have to wait a long time. That's the part about being a sports fan.
Long time.
Right. And then you have Jose's home run, and then you go, okay, so we're back. And then the year after, we get Edwin's home run, and we're like, all right. And then there was a 9-year lull. It wasn't bad, but it just took a long time. I will be honest with you. There was a point in that game I had actually gone upstairs. I had gotten to the point where I was like, I need to take a break. Yep, mentally. And look, I've coached many games, and I have a lot of dirt under my cleats as a player. There was just a time where even if you're a player or a coach, you can step away for a second. Like, that's okay. Reset yourself. I have no control over this game whatsoever, but I took a mental break. My son comes upstairs. He goes, well, Springer just hit a dinger. And I went, no way. He's like, you should probably get
all I heard is it's all because Darryl took a break, a reprieve.
Well, that was the
able
debate.
To get that.
Do I go back and watch the game or do I not? And I was like, fellas, told my boys and then my wife, I don't think I've got enough schlep in this game. No matter what I want to do, I cannot change this game. So I'm going to watch. Yep. And I was happy to see how they managed or were going to manage and then did manage the bullpen with Bassett or Gossman, then Bassett. And, you know, I have a lot of friends text me, why are they doing this? You have to explain to it. At this point, if Vladdy could throw 10 pitches, he's accountable to that. It's just get there mode. And I thought they did it brilliantly. And then when Hoffman came in, I thought, okay, 6 outs yesterday. Can he dominate today? And he did. And that's what they came for.
You know, let's be clear. Obviously we have some, you know, I like to think of myself as a pretty educated baseball person, Craig, Darryl, everybody we have on. We do have, you know, fans in the stands that have, I've had lots of people, Darryl, to your same point, say, you know, what were they thinking about going to, especially to Bassett? And I'm like, well, I mean, they haven't seen him. The guy has 5 pitches that when they're working it's like having an octopus.
They worked.
Yeah.
They worked.
And
if his deception is there, he's devastatingly hard to hit. And he doesn't have to overgas you. And that was the thing that I liked about Hoffman. Hoffman felt to me like he took a bit off to try and make sure he was hitting his spots, because it's much more important for you to hit your spot at 96 than it is to overthrow at 98 and miss, because that ball goes out just as fast as it came in.
Yeah, so, and what I loved about this whole last 3 innings were the way they set it up. Gossman has a certain way of reacting as a hitter, and you have to adjust. Then if you're watching and you're facing Bassett, there's a way as a hitter that you have to adjust. And when he threw that 74-mile-per-hour curveball, I just about jumped out of my seat and hit my head on the roof. It was so beautiful.
Yeah.
And then after you have Gossman and then you have Bassett, to then have a flamethrower, just someone who's just throwing really, really hard fastballs. And I love what Jason said. You have to know baseball. He's not going to overpower you with anything other than you know it's coming. It's going to be the fastball. But when he throws that slider, which he did to end the game, it's impossible. And it looks like
not swing at it.
Can't not swing at it. It looks like it's coming as a fastball. By the time you're midway through the swing, you're swinging a garden hose.
Oh no!
Yeah, and you're thinking, oh god. As you're swinging, you're like, this is gonna be bad.
And it's funny you would say that. Earlier in the game, Vladdy struck out on a very similar pitch, and I was sitting with my wife, and she was like, "Well, what kind of a swing is that?" And she watches a ton of baseball, and I'm like, "Hun, you've never seen a splitter or a cutter or a sweeper that does what that ball's doing." And then they just like my brain was controlling the TV, they went to the umpire's camera and it showed the pitch go and break. And she's like, "Oh, you're right. Like, we haven't seen anything like that."
By the time your front foot goes down, your hands are about to get through the plate, you're thinking, "I'm going to hit it." And then about half a second more, like, "I'm not going to hit it."
Yeah. You could throw your bat at it. That's about all you could do, is you could just let the bat.
Glad he tried to do that.
Yeah, I know.
Same at bat you're talking about. He just is like, and I'm just going to throw this over here, hope for a little.
And you know, like Kirby looked really good. And I understood the thinking of starting a pitcher fresh in the inning, but I was surprised they made the move when they did. I mean, we could dissect this. You know, it went back and forth on both sides. I feel like the Jays made interesting choices, and the Mariners made interesting choices. I mean, I would have gone to Munoz. He hadn't given up a hit in forever. So I think that you know, he probably would have been my first linchpin. But I mean, they had faith in that guy, and even after they put Munoz in, what did the Jays get? 3 or 4 hits on him in fairly quick succession. So, I mean, I don't know if it would have been different. They didn't get a run, but I mean, had that been two innings earlier and they got a couple runners on, how does that change? Because at that point, Munoz had kind of given up, I mean, he was kind of defeated to the point where we're not going to get through. We're not going to win this game.
The baseball piece to that whole thing too is I get why people are upset you didn't use them, but that inning started with the 7, 8, 9. You weren't expecting to get to George Springer. You were like, okay, we're going to need Munoz next inning. So let's get to that piece. Not could have it worked if he did what Hoffman did the other night? Pitched 2 innings? Sure, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Good coaches think ahead. They should have been planning ahead. What if we get to Springer? What if we get there? And the bottom of the Jays lineup does really well.
Yeah.
In that whole series, we did well.
Right. So I don't know. That's what worries me about this series. Like, can we keep this going? Is it even possible? Like, come on. Just give me. And I think the fans out there, because baseball has been reintroduced to a lot of new people who haven't watched in 9 years, and then before that, about 20 years, maybe 15 years. So they're looking at this rush going, I don't know anybody. Everybody's making up their own things, and I just want people to go and say, like, hey, trust the process. We're here for a reason. We don't have the greatest stars, but hey, we do have big stars. Gausman was an ace. Bassett was an ace. Scherzer's been an ace. Vladdy's a star. Springer's won a World Series. Like, we've got a lot of key contributors, and the way that they built this team, I hope fans see that this team should be good for another 3 years.
Yeah. I think the other thing too, Darryl, to your point, is that out there in the ether is a lot of American fans, again, who don't know anything about these Blue Jays. And so, like, Craig, I don't know if you saw that comment on Twitter today where some dum-dum said the only Canadian with any kind of value or that has any kind of thing in the playoffs is playing for the Dodgers. And the second most influential one is playing for the Mariners. And I just put up Vladdy's stats, and I didn't have to put up anything else. And then all these people below are like, Vladdy's not Canadian. Vladdy's not. And you're like, guys,
birth certificate.
Seriously.
Actually, he's way more Canadian than a lot of people.
Exactly.
Like, and I have a friend from California message me on Facebook today. He's like, wow, these Jays don't know anybody. Like, what's your feeling? Is it going to be Canada versus America? And, there's no Canadians. I was like, well, first of all, nobody's from LA probably playing for LA. There's definitely nobody from Toronto. And the unique thing that I love about this is that it's not America versus Canada. It is Toronto versus LA. It is the Blue Jays versus the Dodgers, you have a nation behind you.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Can we quickly address the fact that there's something so sweet about the fact that in America's game, while we're dealing with all of this stuff that's going on, the insanity in the U.S., that it's the state that Trump hates the most versus the country that bothers him the most playing in baseball.
Which makes me, as the American in the room, I mean, very happy he won't be watching or attending.
I can't. Now, how about this? Would the team that wins this, do either of them get invited to the White House?
It won't be Toronto because they're not an American team. So that's already. I think that's been well established, even I think by tradition. If it was an NHL team, I don't think the Raptors even got an invitation when they won. I think that's just part of how it is.
But does he invite the Dodgers?
Sure, he does.
Yeah,
he hates California right now.
But does he like the owners? That's how it is.
Probably.
Exactly.
But to bring it back, though, it's really cool to have a nation.
Yes.
Behind, because the last time that the Blue Jays were in the World Series, the Expos were still a thing. Yeah, and they were getting red hot at that time, but we split the love. And now it's all the love. And I am a big fan of that.
Yeah.
Not sure if you guys have seen the numbers, but the American League Championship Series was one of the most watched baseball series in baseball history. It was slightly nuts. So, and that's Americans, Canadians, everybody alike watching around the world.
Fox and Sportsnet's numbers?
That was some of the numbers that I saw as the Major League Baseball numbers. Not the given whatever it is, but to that point, it makes a bajillion times percent, to what you had mentioned as far as nailing that one right perfectly, because you do have the whole nation on it. And then you have this wonderful fun thing that we were even talking about in our Discord chat earlier today. Me and Paulie, one of the guys that's in the chat, is our Rochester natives right here where we are, just on the south side of Lake Ontario for you. And somebody on the chalk line outside of the Wegmans supermarket here in town actually painted "Let's Go Blue Jays."
Wow.
And so it's a lot more than a lot of people, I think. And I know you guys, we got a wonderful collection of characters here that really diversify the Blue Jays fan base in this chat right now. And anybody that is in the chat, hit us up and tell us where you're at, what you're seeing with the Blue Jays fans and stuff like that. But Buffalo, New York area, tons of Blue Jays fans.
Yeah, and like Western New York has so many Blue Jay fans from Buffalo. Syracuse Sky Chiefs were there.
Yep.
There's a lot of Toronto, a lot of Western New York fans of the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
Yes. And it's been fun to walk around, and me walking around and things like this. And everybody's like, oh, I know that. Joe Carter was awesome.
The other funny thing, too, is that what this has sparked is this is the only thing that I can akin this to that my kids have been able to see at 14 years old is the gold medal game, U.S.-Canada in the Olympics. It's the only thing that home run and Sydney's golden goal are comparable now within their memory bank for sports. Like, it was so exciting watching all of this stuff, and they can see some of the stuff that I do and other things. And I'm getting messages from buddies in Saskatoon and Edmonton and Regina and all these other places. And it was, even to watch the Flames stop their game, the game to watch the last, watch the last out. Like, I mean,
I want to share a cool story with you. So J.Birdy, we have a clothing line. I had somebody buy a J.Birdy shirt and hat from Baltimore, Maryland. Like, whatever. Okay,
that might be our buddy.
Yeah, that might be the dude.
It might be Esteban.
I can't see who's in the chat, nonetheless. But he's in a band, and frequently when people buy some stuff, sometimes they'll take pictures of themselves in their gear and they'll send us a DM. And he sends me a picture of his grandfather, who played professional baseball in Trois-Rivières, Quebec. And he said, my affinity to the Blue Jays is that my grandfather got to play professional baseball in Trois-Rivières, Quebec during World War II. I stumbled upon your brand. I like to wear it, et cetera, et cetera. That's what the Blue Jays are doing. They're not. So we are talking coast to coast. We are talking coast to coast of Canada, but there's a lot of people right now that have connections to Canada. What I also love is our city's going to be on display again. The last time was when the Raptors were in the championships, but before that, it's been a long time, and now people are. It's nice to see our city in the spotlight, and there's lots of great things about it too.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things I saw just stumbling around Instagram and everything at lunch today, Jason, I think you and I both stumbled on it. You sent it to our account. I saw it too about that same time frame. Our friend, the mayor of Dunedin, Florida, Mo Freeney, she was in her full Blue Jays gear outside City Hall going, let's go Blue Jays. The fans in Dunedin are ready to support the team. And there's Blue Jays flags and stuff as they were floating around this, could have been from spring training, but I don't really care. The fact is that you got another town literally that is our home away from home in spring training, repping the brand and ready to go. It's just so much fun to see all these stories. The other night
that with the LA spring training home, you're not going to see that with Seattle spring training, and you're probably not.
They're both Arizona.
They're both in Arizona, but there's still a love to Canada, right? There's still that love.
We had Mo on.
Oh, okay.
She's great. She's on the
show before, and she almost expressed it's such an odd thing for her because once a year, every year, they're flooded with Canadians, and it's a weird small little window for a little town in Florida that just basically turns Canadian for a month and a bit. And she even referenced it, I think, at one point where she feels sort of like a Canadian by proxy, based on the fact that she's out a lot and she meets a lot of people and goes to the games and stuff like that. And
she's very, very active in the community. She shakes hands. She talks with everybody. She is one of the nicest ladies that's been on the show. And it's so much fun.
Yeah,
there you go.
Mo.
She helped make sure that the Dunedin Blue Jays, that was her claim to fame before she became mayor, was I kept the Blue Jays in Dunedin, because that is what's happened with all spring training places. They have moved out to the burbs. They're not in the little towns anymore.
They invested. That's even better. They invested in Dunedin.
So it was a beautiful.
Hey, and it worked. Look at all of our guys now, right? Like they go there, they train, our system works. Then they get up all the way through all the stadiums, our high A team, our double A team, our triple A facilities. They're all top notch.
Yep.
And now
they should bring in plenty of talent with a World Series ring on your finger too. Just saying.
Well, we're 4 wins away. We're 4 wins away.
Yeah. So I want to show you guys something really cool I also found online this morning. So I was flipping around, like I said, reading during my lunch break and everything like that. And I came across this really, really cool article on Blog Toronto that showed what the ballpark in the surrounding area looked like the last time that the Toronto Blue Jays won the World Series. It's like, where did everything go?
I don't see any condos.
No.
Yeah, none whatsoever.
People.
Yeah. And then it goes on to show like literally the aerial footprint and everything.
That's crazy.
I remember this. That little scaffolding on the bridge has really been reshaped a lot since then. I just think it's funny that some of these same cracks I think are still in that sidewalk, but that's besides the point.
I also think so. I was obviously this kicks off a lot of nostalgia and a lot of reading, and I like to get into the history and stuff like that. And we saw one of our loyal listeners, Troy, put in there. I think lost in this a little bit, and I was very surprised when I heard this the first time, is that Don Mattingly is going to the World Series for the first time ever. Like that's to say that out loud, to think about Don Mattingly's career, the teams he played for, as a Yankee, and you're just like, pardon me.
He coached, and
I know
he coached the Dodgers.
Yes, you're right. He did coach the Dodgers,
right? He coached the Dodgers.
He should have 3 or 4 rings. So, pretty cool for him. I know that he was emotional after the Yankees.
That's why baseball is so romantic.
I know,
right? Because a guy like him who has, whether you like him or not, couldn't be a Hall of Fame career. It's debatable amongst many of them, but now so many years passed. Becomes a manager with the Dodgers before they started investing a lot of money. Comes to Toronto with the possibility. We all thought he was potentially 10 games plus minus to become a head coach many times. If Schneider didn't have the season, they probably had him next in line. I think all of us originally thought, they're bringing in Mattingly to potentially replace Schneider. And here he is in 2025 in his first World Series. That guy, I think when they announce his name, will be jogging out as if he was playing.
Yeah,
I think so too.
The people of LA like him too. I think that's going to be the weird thing about this. There isn't really, other than Springer's, Astros leftover, hate. And there will be some of that for sure.
World Series MVP.
Home run and MVP and. But I don't. There isn't a ton of animosity between these two teams. I'm hoping that there can become some. I'm hoping that the pitching can amp up and But it's one of those ones.
I think there will be
by game 2. You think so? Similar to the Mariners one.
Yeah, I think it's. I think that this is going to be a dogfight, and just all my years of baseball and thinking about it just from some drives that I've had and just collecting my thoughts, it's like a MMA or a boxing fight with no storyline. And I think quickly there's going to be a storyline. Someone's going to get hit. Someone's going to be dirty. Someone's going to go spikes up. And it's just going to get big. Maybe a coach will get tossed. There's something's going to happen where this is just going to explode. And that's what we want. And I'm totally fine with it. If they end up hitting Ohtani, is it the end of the world? Really?
Yeah. It's and it happens. You don't have to hit him on purpose, but accidentally on purpose. But I think there's tons of good storylines too. There's a lot of Jays, Dodger, intermeshing and buddies and all the rest of that
Of course.
fun stuff. So yeah,
What I'm worried about is that the fans that are at the game in Toronto, game 1 and game 2, especially game 1, I would love to see them give a standing ovation to Freddie Freeman.
for sure, and they will.
I hope they do.
Love Freddie.
There's no way they
Freddie.
can't. I mean, he even was talking today, and he's like, every time I even get close to Toronto, I start to think about my mom, and he's a guy who's worn Team Canada. You know, to Vladdy's, maybe possibly detriment, he has never worn the red and white for Canada.
Maybe he will now.
Yeah, maybe.
Wink, nudge, nudge.
But yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot, there's a lot to unpack. Like Freddie is going to be emotional.
Freddie's also a monster in the World Series.
Yeah, he has been quiet so far. So
quiet for now doesn't mean
you don't want to wake him up too badly. But yeah, I mean, hey, it's I think it is what it is. I mean, we'll talk about the starting lineup and stuff like that here, and I think move on to. Is there anything else you want to cover from what happened? Like, I mean, the homer.
No, let's talk forward. So go ahead and hit your starting 9 here, buddy. We're gonna try something new here on the show. Jason's all over it though.
Well, we're gonna try something quick, as everyone knows that Craig and myself and Liz, this is a labor of love for us, and sometimes you get to a point where that love is. Present some opportunities. So we're gonna try something tonight, and we're gonna see how it works. And we're gonna see if we can't get some more action from this. So we're gonna try something. It's called the starting 9. We're gonna look at the projected lineups for game 1. As we get closer, we'll have a little bit better idea of what is actually happening. But the starting 9 is presented by the Pelly Clinic. The Pelly Clinic is North Vancouver's premier wellness clinic, conveniently located in Upper Lonsdale in North Vancouver. For 5 years now, the Pelly Clinic has been voted the North Shore's favorite chiropractic and massage therapy clinic. The clinic features chiropractic care, digital x-rays, registered massage therapy, big shout-outs to Carla and Rachel, diagnostic nerve testing, laser therapy, and much, much more. So, fellas, I saw today, basically a bunch of people banding about. And I think there's 2 looks at this. There's a bow in and a bow out. So the way I've got bow in is Springer in left, Luke's in right, Vladdy at 1, Bow DH, Kirk catching, Barger at 3, Clement at 2, Varsho in center, and Jimenez at short. Thoughts?
I couldn't agree more with you with Bow in, but I think if Bow's in, he's all in, he plays short.
Yeah, that was my other consideration.
Yeah.
I think he's
a game speed thing, I think.
Yeah, yep. I agree with you. Yeah. So he's I think he's young where he's like, if I'm in, I need to have my heart racing. I need to be in.
It might be anyways. You never know. This will be his first World Series, obviously, and his first postseason appearance of this, year, obviously, with him being hurt like he's been, Darryl. So there might be some ampacity there, at least for game 1, to carry him in a DH spot. But the question
I would also hit him low. I would hit him low in the lineup, let him ease his way in.
No stress. The top of the lineup's been working, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't change the lineup at all. I would just put him in the bottom, move Clement up a little bit. That's fine with me.
Yeah.
And how intimidating would it be for Bo to be basically giving Jimenez a bump up to the 8th spot and letting Bo bat 9th just to hide him there? Well, that's a wonderful turnaround for the order to just oh crap, Bo's up, Springer's next.
Old school baseball, you don't always have to have. You have 2 leadoff guys potentially 9-1, and I was a big believer that the pitcher in the old school National League should never batted 9th anyways. He should have batted 8th and have another leadoff guy. So I think it's good.
I do too. And on Tommy Edman does it for the Dodgers. Tommy Edman is exactly what they're going to want Bo to do. Like your 7-8, possibly 9, turning it over all the time, a threat to hit a home run. Tommy Edman's unbelievable. Probably the most unsung Dodger they have.
And that's what I mean. Like to flip this, the Dodgers lineup is just so stacked. I mean, it's the Blue Jay pitchers are going to have to earn it, and they are going to have to earn every out is going to be special. Like they will not take any out for granted at all, and they'll take it. And I think we have to know they're going to go deep. I'm happy that our bullpen's got many innings. They've all seen a lot of work. It's going to come down to it, I think.
Is it true that Brandon Little was sent on a small boat to the they bought him a cruise, like a year around the globe cruise to take him the next couple months
Fishing
somewhere?
with Liz, it's okay.
Yeah, geez Louise.
Look, I think he's got a spot. I think that they just have to manage his expectations. And I would like, here's what as a viewer, I see our beloved pitching coach and our head coach 1-2 together all the time. I love to see Mattingly in somebody's ear a little bit. I'm sure he's got a lot to say. And, maybe he's in control of the offense a little bit more than we see, or that's his role. But Pete Walker, I'm with you. Like we have to manage this bullpen. The last time I was on, I'd said my favorite Blue Jays manager was John Gibbons. Boy, did he ever know how to manage a bullpen. We're seeing it a little bit different. Hey, it's working. We're winning. So I don't have anything to clash other than what I think. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Troy, Brother Lions here in the chat has got this right, because you do have the lefties in the lineup. So there is going to be something to that Little's going to have some opportunity to redeem himself, hopefully in this, World Series. But I just don't see a rotation or anything that doesn't include him in the bullpen here, because it's just... Who else do you put in there? So unless you're going to give
Fluharty, I mean, there's lots of guys.
For the roster spot.
Yeah, I don't want him throwing a baseball anywhere in the vicinity of Shohei or Muncy. They are
especially Fluharty
or Mookie.
Yeah, or Mookie. Yeah, I mean,
but I will say this. Okay, so he screwed up. Whatever. We've all done it. If you've played the game, you've all made some. I think he's a better player because of it. Glad it happened to Hoffman. They all seem to have learned from it. I'm also like, okay, I'm on his corner. I think that he's going to have not the fair weather fans, but the true diehards like us amongst the people watching today and listening. I think we're going to be in this corner. I think so. And it's not going to be like, oh God, we're putting Little in. I think it's going to be, yes, let's back this guy.
So Darryl, what you missed was in the game where he did give up the home run.
Yeah.
I was sitting here with some buddies, and they were showing something else in the field, and in the bottom corner of the screen, Little was warming up, and as a chorus, the three of us went, "Oh God, no!" and I mean,
sounds familiar.
I mean, I don't know, and I appreciate exactly what you're saying, and I feel the same way. I don't know if he can come back from it. I don't know if he can. He wore that thing,
right? Who knows?
He wore that thing, and I was surprised how much they made him wear it. I memean, maybe he asked to be in front of the camera and be able to, like, normally your manager would shield you a little bit from that, no pun intended. But he seemed to want to wear it, and he's been like, I didn't even see him come running out. Like he was obviously there on the field celebrating, but he wasn't in the herd coming out first. I feel like he's so damaged right now.
And that's possible. I mean, Jason, you've managed and you coached. I've coached kids and I've played. Sometimes you get rocked, and between your ears and behind your eyes, it's damaging and bruising. And it's an ego thing too. So maybe
sounds
they
like
said,
one of the
hey,
friends
pal,
of our show talked about that a whole episode with us, Mr. The Lunchbox Hero.
It's very possible that could have. Also, Schneider could have said, "Thanks, pal. Good job. I think you're good for the rest of the year, and we'll reevaluate things." And it's a performance-based business.
I don't know, man.
Really
we'll
is.
see. And I mean, I think that the matchups. You go through them, and now I've been going through the matchups in my head over and over and over again about what they're going to face, and now there's talk of Yusevich. I think is going to get the rock for Game 1. Which I mean, come on, can we this dude? This dude has done something no baseball player has ever done in the history of the game, which is cover every level of the entirety of the scale of a
Eric
team.
Lindros is what I've been calling him.
Yeah,
remember
that's a great one.
Remember he was in the Canada Cup, the Juniors, Canada Cup, Olympics, all in 1 year.
Oh, didn't Lindros actually play in the Max tournament, like the U15 Max tournament that year as well?
Something like that. He did
also,
everything.
Yeah.
Skyrocket.
I mean,
that's a great comp.
I love the fact that they're willing to take a chance of this kid again. I mean, he has certainly not proved himself as being able to bounce back. And when that splitty is on, it's devastating. It's
he our version of Paul Skeens?
Yeah,
I would say he's
current.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, he looks so much like Verlander, though. I can't not compare him to Verlander. Like everything about the delivery, the pitch, the ball speed, the movement, everything is Justin Verlander right after Verlander had Tommy Johns, where he was one of the most lethal guys in the league.
And they're saying that him and Gausman are like this now. And I mean, couldn't. I mean, the guy doesn't need to go and get a 4-year degree, master's, and a PhD. I mean, he just has to hang around a couple weeks with Kevin Gausman, learn his splitter.
Well, and Max Scherzer.
And Max Scherzer.
You know, I mean, what Yusevich, and it's exactly what you're talking about. Like the opportunity that Yusevich has right now is to get. I mean, he's got Don Mattingly on the bench. He's got some of the best pitchers to ever do it in the last couple of years. He's got he's got exciting guys and challenging guys and all this different stuff. And it must be so much fun. Like I have to think, and I don't know if you guys saw the clip of it or not, but when Springer hit that home run, to watch Ernie Clement's reaction, I wish I just had it. And he turns around
he
like this
like
to the
every
crowd,
one of us.
and he's like looking at the crowd like what is happening here? And Loperfido's, if you see when Springer jumps, Loperfido's behind him, and he's doing like it's so funny. I mean, and I think this all plays into the part where you need a kid who is young like that, who seems to be cool as a cucumber, but he needs to have some fun. He needs to be able to realize that it's a game, and you know, even if you give up a few, we're coming with we're coming for them. We want those runs back.
About the storyline that we've got Betts, we've got Freeman, we've got Hernandez, we've got Shohei, we've got Muncy, we've got
TK.
Yes, and
very underrated too.
Stars, like we've got stars, legitimate MLB stars that people like. Probably all in the top 25 of jersey sales, if not more, on that roster. And it's LA. And it's big time. And they're prime time. This is the big lights. And then you got our scrappy guys, young guys from Toronto. And this is a lot of their first World Series, first playoffs, first time in the show. And they're like, okay, this is fun. Let's go win 4 games.
Yep.
Like
that was the best speech.
We have the expectations are low. They're I think they had said on TSN in June the Jays were 80-1 odds to win.
I should have made that bet.
I know. I was in Vegas.
Locked in my bet for them winning the World Series. I locked in my bet for them to win the World Series the day we clinched the division. So
nice.
I'm for a $20 bet. I'm looking at a couple $100.
Nice.
So I'm gonna call that one a win.
I thought it's interesting. If you go back a bit in the chat there, Tony had a good point about if we can put the Brandon Little in a can. I might be with him on that. Like add Nance and take out Little. I mean, Nance has proved that he can get out of situations. He's a fairly intimidating big guy, and I would be okay with him coming in and Little taking the World Series off.
I'll make the argument: do you need the extra pitcher?
I don't know. I mean,
pitchers
with
Bo coming back, do you keep the roster of? Because the problem is if you move around pieces on the bench and put Bo Bichette back in, you're going to end up putting Addison Barger at third, and Ernie Clement's going to have to play second, I think, just because to keep both their bats, and you got to move IKF as the worst bat in the lineup at that point, right? It's just common denominator issue, not that IKF hasn't been a key part to this.
Look at the dexterity that this team has, where you can move them all. Fine, you're going to play outfield. Okay, you play second, or you'll play third.
It's
really
insane.
The locked-in possessions right now with Bo in is short and first. And if really needed, Vladdy could go to third.
Yeah, he could.
Right?
Yep.
But to that point, though, if you move, like I'd say, unfortunately, on the bench right now, if you're going to make room for Bo, and I love that he can just thump, is it's probably somebody that's on the tipping point is somebody like Davis Schneider.
Yeah.
And I just love the fact that he is cool as a cucumber when he comes in on things like this. He's done it in Buffalo. He's done, obviously, as we've got to see him watch as a Blue Jay. He is just somebody that can come off the bench and drop one in the seats. So there is an ability there that I love.
And he plays infield, and he plays outfield. And if you need him to go in and bunt, or you need him to go in and pinch run, he's just, I think he's a Charlie. I've always thought when he came out was a year or two ago with all the fanfare and all the hype, I was like, okay, he's not a fair weather guy. Like, this guy's Charlie Hustle. I saw him play 2 years ago in Buffalo. He stood up. He had 2 home runs. And I was like, okay, this guy's something. Like, he must not be anything bigger than 5'10". He's a teapot, short and stout.
Yeah.
And
when I met him, he is exactly 5'10", I think, because he was like eyeball with me at 5'9".
But I don't want to give up somebody like him. I see him on the bench with his wrist taped, like he's ready to go
at all times.
All times.
And I don't know.
Was you gripping the?
No, but I don't know if you guys saw this. They cut to this a couple of times. So one of the things that the Jays were really concerned about was that lefty. Was his name Snyder or Strider or whatever it was? Yeah. So Miles Straw and they showed them both downstairs. The batting cage is right below, and they've got that the simulator machine that shows all the different pitchers. And they would cut down, and Schneider and Straw would be taking cuts down there on this guy, prepping for him to come up and come in. And it's like, it's amazing to see somebody who probably is convinced that he's not going in to be down there hitting a couple of 100 balls while he gets his work in. And, it speaks to him as a player. Unfortunately, if he can't find a full-time spot here, I really hope he does somewhere. He's good enough to play in the majors every day. And, I think he's finally proved that, but he's got a big road to hoe with what the Jays have in front of them. I mean,
So Davis Schneider has an eerily similar career path to what we saw from Lourdes Gurriel Jr. He could 100% just slide full time into a starting position, and then probably a lot of people would be perfectly fine with it because he's going to hit. So it just seems odd to me that the infield to the outfield and the outfield to a starting lineup, all those kind of things. I thought it was really eerily similar. It dawned on me a few months ago, or somebody like that was back and forth a little bit in the early parts of their career and has a similar thump. Aaron Hill was one of those guys that just thumped that same drive that
very similar look to. But Aaron Hill, they had more stock in him. I think he was a first round or so LSU ball player.
Yep.
But
I'm judging purely on the prowess as a player.
That's how we judge people. Like they'll say that that Schneider, look, he's an Aaron Hill type player. Like he kind of is if you look at him.
It's a compliment. Mm-hmm. Aaron Hill was one of our better second basemen in our tenure. So
I loved it when him and Russ Adams were double play up the middle. Those were good times about 20 years ago now. But those were good days.
Did you guys see the throwback this week? Dalton Pompey offering up his horse.
Oh my God!
So Dalton's a police officer in Hamilton, and he had a thing. They had a Instagram or something where it cuts to the horse, and then it cuts to Dalton, and he's like, "Hey George, horse is ready for you." Yeah. And it just like some of this marketing stuff has just been so killer for the city.
That's why this team right now
is so much fun.
From that, when he's like tarps off, get the horse ready, and then it was Schneider, with I don't know if I'm allowed to say it, but start spreading the news. Then it was Vladdy, right? Then it was Vladdy. Then it was Mad Max. Then it was the spring of hope. Like this.
It's just
if this Cinderella story has the beautiful fairy tale ending. Remember Sky High 92 Blue Jays, all those VHS videos. The video that they can make of this or the story, it's going to be something else.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be wild. So I want to point out an ironic thing that I thought of when I saw the Dalton Pompey thing. I saw it when Jamie Campbell put it back on Twitter this afternoon, and I was like, "Oh my God!" The guy that was literally the closest to getting us through the ALCS into the World Series that was 90 feet away.
Mm-hmm.
Dalton Pompey is the one
Yeah.
that's sitting there with going, come on, George, let's take a ride. I just thought that was like a full circle
the
moment.
irony too is when he stole third, I think that everybody knew he was potentially doing it, and then he did it.
Yeah, and got away with it, no problem too. Full on,
Yep.
legit stolen a third, and that was right after. Didn't he steal second right before that too, or was he bunted over?
Don't know. I don't recall what the storyline was. But go. Speaking of bunting, though, we were talking about all these all of these potential guys that could play, whether Bo's in or Bo's out, or we have Schneider in and Schneider out. Look what they've done all year. If it's Schneider on the bench and he needs to drop one down, or IKF has to do one, or if Lografito isn't, like, whatever they do, I can't put it past the Jays to play a little bit of small ball just to get on base and create some chaos.
Yeah. I think we got to think of a name for that DVD based on that whole piece that you were just talking about there for this.
Well, Sky High was 92, Back to Back was 93.
Yeah.
I watched those religiously as a kid.
The weird Coca-Cola ads and all. I get it.
Thank God they haven't put it out yet, because the Blue Jays had that come out in 2015 when they were going to
finally back at it.
Yeah, I remember. I thought it was too soon.
Can't do it yet.
Yeah.
And is this like a next man up or tarps off World Series?
Yeah.
Wow, I'm fine with that.
Yep. So anyway, thank you very, very, very much, everybody in the chat. We got about 10 minutes left. I guess I really have to do this like picks to click thing still.
Remember last week when we were joking and we were like, we got to do it. If we don't, it'll be bad Moj. And then we did it, and it was just like, oh my God!
I think I finally won.
So Darryl, you got to hear this. So he goes through this, and so Craig's like, you know what? I'm going to pick Jimenez, and then. Didn't he go 3 for 3 that night, and then 3 for 4 the next night? And it was just like, oh my God, I don't know what he's done here, but he's awakened the giant.
The last full-time show that we had on this was right before the trip back to Seattle. Jason and I have been doing some back and forths for pre-games, which, by the way, everybody, we are going to continue doing by popular demand, and we have some fun guests lined up. I'll get to that in a moment. But that was what it was, and I'm like... I had a feeling he was going to be some kind of a catalyst to something. Did I think it was going to be the home runs that he hit for those games? Not in years. I just thought he was going to be that spark plug, that grinder that got it back up to, Springer Vladdy company. So, but to that point, our picks last week were, here's your, ALCS MVP. Vladdy was the one pick. Nathan Lucas. I had Andres Jimenez. And then we were still hoping that Anthony Santander was going to be in the guest spot. That's how long ago it was.
They
did I win? Did I actually win?
Oh, yeah, you win.
I don't think we would have a series victory in that ALCS without Andres Jimenez, because that was really the spark plug the one game.
It's you.
So on that note, I'm going to let Darryl go first. So this will be, we actually get to talk for hopefully at least 5 games before our next episode. So talk here for who you think is going to be the best between Blue Jays baseball between today and next Wednesday.
Dalton Varsho.
Solid pick.
And I'll tell you why. He struggled a little bit. He loves that high fastball, and he loves it, but he chases it. Can't touch it. Oftentimes fouls it back. I see the competitor in him after he came back from his injury, and I loved it. Just that tenacity and that grind and that grit that he had. I see a guy. I don't know him. I see a guy like him knowing that he's got some things to improve on, and he's going to be working on that consistently. And now I don't think he's going to get bit by it. I think it's only going to make him better, and I think that he's going to be the difference maker for the first few games for the Jays. Offensively, defensively, he's already there.
The one thing I loved about Varsho, too, is I don't know if you noticed, but the first 3-4 games of the ALCS, he was just drilling baseballs, but they were going right at people. Mm-hmm. Well, something miles an hour. I felt like he was just peppering the right fielder. So, is what it is. Jason, your pick, my friend.
Oh Lord, it's really hard to not say George Springer. I mean, it's like old guy, Coming off
what is he,
this
36?
He's old. He's old.
He's the same age as what, Kevin Pillar? Isn't that what they said?
I jokingly said his sister followed something of mine on Twitter, and I jokingly said back to her old guys rule, and she responded back. She was like, "Yes, they do." So either other people think he's old too. But it's
in the comment section, I'm being called awesome. By Brother Lions, I'm liking it.
I am going to go George Springer.
George Springer, game on.
I guess we have to give Liz Vladdy, don't we?
No, I don't want to give her Vladdy. That's too easy. She's hanging out with polar bears right now. Did you see our chat? She's at like the aquarium. I asked her if we could get the polar report in. But not so much. I think I'm going to go with the wonderful friends in the chat here. There's a couple people that have mentioned Ernie Clement. I think I'm going to give Liz Ernie Clement. So that means my Rochester buddy's now taken. I'm going to go Kirky. He was rather eerily quiet in that whole American League Championship series.
Then he likes to explode.
Yeah. And he was so good defensively. Like, I mean, we all saw Cal Raleigh, who didn't have a pass ball or a single wild pitch all year long, just start to come unglued.
Yeah.
And as the balls kept hitting the dirt and he just wasn't moving, I actually think that he might have had something wrong with him, potentially back or lower back, because he just wasn't moving left or right out of his crouch as quickly.
A lot of games, man.
And he's a big dude too. Like, I mean, he's
a power hitter. I was saying to some friends, that guy's got to transition to a first baseman soon. He'll hit more nukes being a first baseman.
Not crouching down. Yeah.
Oh
yeah, Bo Bichette. Nobody took Bo.
I honestly was thinking about it, Tony. Good call, but I was like, because I don't know if anybody is much aware of this. Can we put Tony in the guest spot and give him Bo? I could just change Liz's pick, but I feel like we had an eerily of too many to Ernie Clement there. But so, have you all seen what Bo Bichette's numbers looked like when he's returned from any other injuries outside of last season?
Hopefully good.
Goofy. It's are insane. Goofy.
It's like video game shit.
Like MLB 25 good?
Yeah, like more than that.
Might be triple play 96 level.
Yeah,
like where runs every 5 minutes.
It's funny, and it's funny you would say that. So the first thing that somebody said about Ohtani's game, the 3 home runner, and they're like, MLB The Show doesn't even let you do that. And then the Springer home run, somebody jokingly said also that would be the hardest, single thing to do in, like, MLB The Show has those ones you have to do the things to get the things.
Oh yeah.
And so to get 2 runners on and then hit a home run in that situation, I mean, it's like you said, it's video game stuff, man. Yeah. It's crazy.
Now, to that point, you got to go back to the level of weird numbers and goofy, like we were talking about with the Shohei Ohtani thing. That guy's playing it like we're playing on the Sega Genesis still, and just being able to sit in and low and just pop home runs over the left field wall or right field wall, depending if you're righty or lefty. I remember playing those games. Baseball Tonight, freaking triple play 96 was always the one that was just mash home runs. MVP baseball, those kind of things was always something fun to watch and play. But to that point, like I said, that one game with him on Friday was still laughable. I don't understand how in the world a human can play baseball at that high of a level. It's astronomical.
I'm glad he got it out of him, because he's not going to happen this time around.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, get that done. So on that note, that's what I got. I want to make sure we give Darryl as our, quote unquote, I'm just going to hint at this future plans coming. But to that point, Darryl, rep your brand, do the shameless self-promoting bit. Microphone is yours, my friend.
Thank you. J.Birdy, that's Canada's baseball brand. For all people that are now Fairweather, bandwagon, Blue Jay fans, Expos fans, Vancouver Canadian fans, Medicine Hat Blue Jay fans, if you're into independent baseball, minor league baseball, but you're just a fan of Canadian baseball, this is your brand. It's a wonderful brand. Everything's done in Canada. We've trademarked Canada's baseball brand on purpose because it's for the people. And this hat is now back. It was our best-selling hat.
Damn,
now back.
As it is.
Yeah, it's now back. It was released. It's called The Exhibition. It was released for the first time on this podcast. And now it's back for the playoffs. And thank you for having me as always. And my goal is to be back to talk about how great that World Series championship for the Blue Jays was.
There you go.
I think I'm going to order myself a Canadian Grit shirt for the
Beautiful.
Try and get one for the next podcast.
Beautiful.
Good deal. So, Blue Jays fans, thank you very much to the 100 or so of you that made it in tonight. I've seen you all. Very thankful to see all of you that are chit-chatting and goofing around with us in the comment sections. We love you hanging out with us in the cheap seats in the 500 level there. If you haven't gotten a chance to yet, a few people were talking about our Discord here in the chat. I will make sure I put that up in our wonderful world of the internet social media as well before the end of the evening. It's been fun in games. We've been having a blast chit-chatting with even a few Mariners fans that were in the ballpark of, I'll say, playful shenanigans that joined us, but thankfully nothing too crazy. But it was a very good time. So make sure you tune in. Jason and I are also going to be live, potentially with Liz, depending on where in the world Liz McGuire is. We'll see. But Friday night, we are going to have Bob File with us. You talked about Medicine Hat Blue Jays right there. There's one that was loving that. He always tells us wonderful stories from his time in the Blue Jays minor league system. And he could not be more hyped on wanting to join that conversation too. Working on a few other guests between Jason and I to join us on Saturday, Monday, and Tuesday and Wednesday as well. We're trying to load up so we have some fun half hours to be your pregame destination to come chit chat with other Blue Jays fans. So make sure you hit us up on the Discord, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you happen to be goofing around with us. We greatly appreciate it. We are here to be the barroom chat for Blue Jays fans. And I think we just got to end the show like we normally would, boys.
Hey, one thing.
Let's go, Blue Jays.
One thing, Craig, before we go.
Go.
I sent a message to Canadian rapper Chocolare. Darryl, do you remember Chocolare?
Of course.
Hey, so Let's Ride. Somebody was playing that behind a bunch of Jays stuff as it was coming up. And Let's Ride is if you go back into rap, you could be Canadian or not, Let's Ride is a great tune.
Let your backbone slide.
Yeah, well, Maestro. That's Maestro.
Oh, it's Maestro. Sorry,
and Maestro's got a few good. So there was some talk earlier in the week about the Kendrick versus Drake stuff, and I'm glad that dropped dead. For our American friends, our American viewers, the Americans that are in the house, check out Chocolare's Let's Ride. Let's get that song back rolling again. And any Maestro Fresh West. And,
I'm all about Cardinal Official.
Yeah, Cardinal Official.
There you go.
That Canada can rap, baby. Swollen members.
If you check out J.Birdy on Instagram, there's a lot of those guys on our reels.
There you go.
Lots of it.
There you go.
Good music is good music.
Yeah. Now we can end it right.
All right.
Too bad we can't play it to roll out.
Costs too much money.
They don't have the license agreement. So 1, 2, 3. Let's go, Blue Jays.
Oh yeah, the double.
There it is. Game on. See y'all soon.
Woo!
Thank you for listening to the J.Bird Watching Podcast. Please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch at BirdwatchingGC and our YouTube channel. If you want to support the show and get extra content, please consider joining to our Patreon at patreon.com/birdwatchinggc. Go Jays, go.
Woo!